Everyone. Happy Friday. Our reading assignments tonight were Job 34, 35, and 36. And I'm going to title our message today with a question for you. Have you ever questioned God? You see, in these chapters that we're reading, we see things that occur that are kind of tied in a little bit to the previous chapters. So let me do a quick overview with tying a couple things together. So bear with me, and then we're going to jump right in and I'll explain and answer this question for you. Job is a blameless man, right? He's upright, and God knows this. The accuser comes around during a time, and God allows the accuser to inflict suffering on Job. And as you read the story, you're like, why, Lord? Why, God? Why would you allow this to happen? And yet we don't get a straight answer. Now, through it all, Job holds on to his faith. Then his friends are giving opinions and they're going back and forth. And Job gets caught in like an emotional roller coaster, and he begins to question God. Are you just? He begins to demand God to then show up and explain himself. Whoa. To him as to why he's allowing Job to suffer. Then Elihu jumps in and he begins to kind of judge Job for what he said. So he doesn't know why Job is suffering, but he does conclude that he should not accuse God, that that is wrong of Job to do. Does this sound familiar? To me, it does. You see, if you can think of a time in your life when you went through a season of suffering or you experienced extreme or long term suffering, did you not question God at some point and say, God, why me? Or why am I going through this? Or, okay, I'm going to hold on, Lord. I know you have a reason. And then it goes on for a really long time. And then you're like, okay, God, what's going on? Why? Right? We begin to question God, and we don't realize that he hasn't forgotten us, even though we feel like he's forgotten us. But you begin to grasp answers or grasp whatever you can to hold on to during this time of suffering, during this time of struggle. You're trying to make sense of the situation. But it's too common and too often that we immediately suspect God is doing something, or we forget who he really is. And it's sad, but it's a reality. It's a reality we all face. And if you pause for a moment and you think to a time in your life or a season that you went through suffering, you may have questioned God. You may have wondered whether God was doing the right thing, right? Because you're like, God, why? Are you sure you're doing this for a reason, or to build character, or to strengthen me, or whatever the reason might be? These questions, though, you got to be careful, because these questions or these seasons of questioning God actually reveal things about your heart. It shows your heart's attitude. And like Job, we can get caught up in emotions. We can go through emotional roller coasters. And we have to remember that through it all, he will never leave us nor forsake us. God is sovereign. He acts in his own character. And we can rest assured that he will always do what is right for us. Amen. I hope you found this word encouraging. Tomorrow is Saturday women's group. I hope to see the women out to come out and fellowship at 2:30, Bible study between 3 and 4. On Sunday, we do have a service at 9 and 11 with breakfast and fellowship in between. We're going to be celebrating graduates, and a lot more is going on Sunday. So I give you back your Friday. Thank you for joining us.